Gentlemen, we're here and we're ready to talk about how you can get jacked even if you are a busy dude. Yes, so we know what it's like as dudes. We have to spend so much time with our hands down our pants and, scrolling the realms of Pornhub. And then maybe playing a few games of the PlayStation. So we are all super, super busy. I joke. I know as we get older, life gets in the way. Kids, pets, job, travel, all sorts are going to hinder us or going to give us a disadvantage when it comes to building the body of our dreams, getting as fit as we can. So I'm here to help you get jacked, even if you are super busy, getting jacked in a efficient way. So before I take any more of your time away from the Pornhub and RedTube, let's get straight into it. So what are we going to talk about today? MED, the minimum effective dose, and I'm not talking about anabolic steroids there. Something is better than nothing. I would always say that, as I'm trying to get the attention of a girl across the way in the gym, and at the fourth, fifth time of looking, she looks back with a bit of a sinister look, as if to say, if you don't stop looking at me, I'm going to get security. But I would always say it's something better than nothing. She noticed me, so yeah, we're going to talk about how we can, have that approach to our training. Supersets. So supersets are definitely a key area that I've used predominantly in my own training history. It saves a bunch of time and it gets you working pretty hard as well. Just make sure to have your cape at the ready. The maximum effect. What do I mean by this? So how can you get the maximum effect from your training individual sessions? And workout snacking. This might be a new sort of, shall we say, terminology to you, a new approach to training and one that could work for a certain group or set of individuals. So let's get into the minimum effective dose. So what is the minimum needed to make progress? Now, I'm not going to kind of quote a load of studies here. That's already been done by the true experts in the field. I'm just here to relay some of the information for you. And basically, it's not much is needed. If you're kind of trying to grow particular areas of the body, I think there's, anywhere between 6 to 10 sets per week on that muscle group is going to, add a significant amount of growth and muscle to that area. So what does that look like? Anecdotal experience, I've worked with guys who have trained, 2 to 3 times a week, and they've achieved incredible results compared to where they were at. Of course, if you want to reach a certain level, bodybuilder stage, photo shoot, you might have to train a little bit more, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about just getting fit, getting jacked, getting in good shape whilst living a busy life. So you really don't need to do as much as you think you do. It's just more about being consistent. And that leads me on to the next point. We're all driven. We all get this boost of motivation to start our health and fitness journey. We're going to take on the world. We watch 300 and think we're going to look like, Gerard Butler by the end of a 3 to 4 week program because we've absolutely nailed it. We're going to have all the chicks running all over me and, six packs coming out my ears. But it's not the way to do it. It's not the way because as soon as that program's done, bring back the beer belly, bring back the fried chicken. You ain't going to stick to that routine. So think about how you can start small, or in periods where you need to be flexible, be small. And what I mean by that is, let's be realistic. This week, I'm going from nothing to starting at the gym. So I'm just going to do 2 sessions this week. And then again next week. And then maybe after that, I might try 3 sessions. End big. Why big? I say, and why end big? Because you are building into something bigger. Of course, there's going to come a point where the minimum effective dose needs to maybe increase a little bit. But that will come with time and that will come as your lifestyle allows for it. Save time and effort. So a lot of the time, on the flip side, I see guys that when they've come to me and they tell me they're doing, 5 to 6 to maybe even 7 gym sessions a week. They're going out for regular runs. They're doing bit classes. I'm just looking at them like, wow, you are really running on that hamster wheel and doing yourself no favors whatsoever. Think about it this way. You're literally pressing the gas pedal with the handbrake on. You're not moving anywhere, but you're putting all this fuel, all this effort into essentially staying still. And a lot of the time, these guys get injured. You don't want to do that. And this is a great way to actually give back to the other areas of your life you might be neglecting at the moment. You know, spend a little bit of time with the missus. Give her a couple of extra kisses around the, around the neck, around the gentle areas. Just, be a good husband. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I've not got a girlfriend myself. I'm just living in an imaginary world. But you can be way more present in life and still achieve great results. Maybe even better than what you're currently achieving now because you found the minimum effective dose. So, moving on to the next one. Do something. And it's better than nothing. You know, a lot of guys, when they come to me, have always had this all or nothing approach where if they're not hitting 5 sessions a week on the diet every single day, no slip-ups whatsoever, if they're not doing that, then it's a complete failure and the towel is thrown in and they give up. You're setting yourself up for failure, even if you have what looks like a realistic sort of pattern to follow at the start. There's going to come a time where you can't follow that pattern because you have to work late. You've got to take your kids to sports. You get a new job, you go on holiday. You've got to be adjustable, and something is always better than nothing. So if these times happen where maybe you have to take a little bit of time away from your fitness, and I love to use this analogy, your life is in 5 different plant pots, and you've got to nurture each plant pot with finite resources. So finite water, finite soil, finite food. So particular times, there's going to be one plant that needs more of the TLC. So you dedicate a little bit more time to that. So that might look like in your life, family, job, fitness, side project, Pornhub. Is that just me? Anyway, sometimes you're able to put a little bit more water into your fitness, a little bit more food into your fitness, a little bit more soil into your fitness. But then other times, the job's going to be a little bit more demanding. So you've got to take soil away from the other plants. You haven't got any more, so you take it a little bit away from your fitness. That doesn't mean all of a sudden the fitness plant is dead and you stop doing it altogether. You just reduce it a little bit. Maybe instead of 5 sessions a week, this week you do 4 sessions. Maybe you cut out the morning runs and just, or cut them in half, or change it to a shorter morning walk. It's little adjustments like this which will go a long way to keeping you consistent, and it is that consistency that will get you the results that you're looking for. So be flexible. Be allowing to adjustments. Because that is going to build the consistency. It's going to help build habits. It's going to help build routine. These guys who start and stop, they never really get going. They might achieve a certain amount of success for a limited period of time, but they're going to find themselves back at square one because what they're doing is not sustainable. And when it comes to this, find gaps in your schedule. And what I mean by this is when you have a little bit more of a schedule that allows for more focus on health and fitness, run with it. Take advantage. Get that extra session in. If it's looking like a super, super busy schedule and you're worrying about, fitting that 1 hour gym session in there or how to meal prep your meals, maybe just pick and choose the most important things. Maybe reduce the gym session to 45 minutes, then an hour. Maybe have a shower at home rather than at the gym so you save time there. All these things you've got to learn how to kind of do on the fly and be adjustable, not rigid, not stiff like a wooden board, not stiff like something in the morning. Luckily, I still get that, but you don't need to know. Supersets. So these are incredibly time-saving tactics for your training. For those who don't know, a superset is basically 2 exercises done in conjunction with each other. Now, this isn't just random. You can't expect to do, a set of leg press and then running over to the barbell bench press and doing a set of bench press and calling that a superset. There's probably going to be a 2 to 3 minute gap where you've got to set up, run to the other side of the gym, and then actually get going. So you've got to be smart with your supersets. First and foremost, I would always go agonistic and antagonistic muscles. Basically muscles that are in contrast to each other. The opposites. The easiest example is triceps and biceps. Whilst one's resting, one is working, and then you have a little bit of a bigger rest at the end of the superset. Then you got to think about the logistics of your gym. Obviously, that's unique to your gym, But as I said, you don't want to be running from one side of the gym to the other in between your superset. We're not adding a 400-meter run in there. We are not looking to improve our cardiovascular fitness. We are looking to increase our muscle. At the same time, I'm not sure running across the gym is probably within the protocol or the health and safety standards. Anyway, equipment. Think about it this way. No one likes those machine hoggers. Oh, sorry, mate, I'm just on that. But you sat on the leg press and now you want to, hog the preacher curl. How's that work? Yeah, well, I'm doing a superset. It doesn't work. Those guys, no beds. Fuck them. Anyway, be smart with your supersets. So, if a machine is within the superset, and I would highly recommend, machines are good. Pin-loaded ones are perfect because it's easy to change the weights, etc. But take a pair of dumbbells over or add a bodyweight movement into there. So, for example, you might do a machine chest press, and then you may do a set of push-ups to failure just to kind of get the maximal effort there. You may do something like a dumbbell shoulder press, and then you go into a dumbbell row because you're using the same equipment. So just be smart about what you're doing and essentially make sure that it works logistically for you. Of course, as I said, it saves time. Think about it this way. I've just said, if you do a dumbbell shoulder press and then you go into a dumbbell, chest supported row, fantastic. You're doing 2 exercises in the amount of time that it would take to do 1. So you're literally cutting that time in half. So yeah, time saving is real cool. One thing you have to be aware of, it is obviously more effortsome. You get less rest, so you are going to be working a little bit higher in your intensity and your capacity, which probably means you've got to reduce the weight a little bit for the movements that you usually do if you were performing that exercise in isolation. So I would always say it's good to combine a heavier movement such as a chest press with a lighter movement, which might be something like a dumbbell fly. Therefore, you can get the max out of both. It wouldn't be so sensible to do something like a barbell back squat going straight into a barbell deadlift. Don't sound good to me unless you want to RIP the back for a few weeks. Then avoid doing something like that. Okay, so choosing exercise for the maximum effect. Cool. We're short on time. Why are you doing wrist curls? Why are you doing rear delt flies? Why are you doing a Bosu ball squat? Be smart with your exercise selection. All right. So some points to kind of think about here are the setup. If you are super short on time, you don't really want to be setting up a barbell or any sort of free weights like that to essentially, do one exercise with. Unless you're planning a workout which revolves solely around the barbell, this probably isn't a smart way to do it. Pin-loaded and plate-loaded machines are great. Dumbbells are also great for an easy setup, as well as bodyweight movements like press-ups and pull-ups. The exercises should relate closely to your goals. If you're in a period where you're really focusing on developing the upper chest, the pecs, the titties, as we like to call them, why are you spending so much time on your lower body? Now, that's not to say skip leg day, but be smart. You've only got 3 sessions to do this week, and you've already spent 2 of them doing quads. Like, what are you doing? You're working on the chest. You want to build that. So, again, pick exercise that closely relates to your goals and what you want to improve upon. Now, compound movements are great. Compound movements are your things like your barbell squats, your deadlifts, your bench press. Now, if you are focused on building an overall physique and overall functional strength, these are the movements to do. The biggest bang for the buck. They incorporate the most muscles within each of the movements as well. So if you are short on time and that's your focus is on overall health and strength, then compound movements are a great way to go about things. But just be wary of what I said in the start. If it's hard to set up, if you haven't got a lot of time, if you wanted to do other exercises alongside that, it's maybe not the smartest of mood. And then actual effects. So like I say, are you doing exercises that are just totally useless for you? A Bosu ball squat just because you saw one of the Hollywood actors doing it. Battle ropes. Again, just because, I watched Mike Israetel's video of him slating Michael B. Jordan's workout to stay fit. Battle ropes, I agree. They're fucking useless. You know, unless you want to learn how to whip a stripper after they've taken all your money, then it's probably a bit useless. So pick exercises that actually have a good effect on what you're trying to achieve. But yeah, that's it. Be smart. Finally, workout snacking. This might be a new phrase, new terminology, which you are not understanding of. Now, I love it. You know, it's a great way to consider or think about workouts. Workouts are thought of usually one block, 1 hour to 2 hour block of training. We can get away from that. And this is a perfect example or a perfect method for those who have a home gym, have a gym at work, or have a very local gym that they, you know, it would be easy to access more than once in the day. So maybe once in the morning, once in the evening. So your workout may overall take an hour 15 minutes. But if you broke that up into 2 or 3 mini sessions, then you've just bought yourself 2 to 3 windows of exercise in that day, rather than thinking you can't get your workout done. All right, so you could do 1 to 2 exercises in 1 mini session, and then another session, and then finish it off in the 3rd session, or break it into 2. The positive is that you're probably going to have more energy for each of those individual exercises because you're giving yourself a longer rest in between the mini sessions, which is great. So therefore you can go a little bit higher and a little bit more intense with the intensity. And it's a little bit easier to manage. Like I say, you might have to look after the kids over the school holidays. It's a relevant topic right now. The school holidays are here. And you might actually find it easier to manage, where you get a 15-minute break here. Great, I'm just going to do a few sets in the home gym, come out, and you get a 15-minute break whilst your son's in a bath. Great, let's go and get a few more sets done, blah, 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 blah. Great. Instead of thinking, my workout's going to take an hour, I ain't got an hour to spare today, I haven't got an hour anywhere in my day, and then just throwing it in the bin and not doing it. So that is it. 15 minutes is all it took for me to present this to you. You can get jacked in just the same amount of time. In relativeness, I don't know what I'm saying, but essentially, fuck how busy you are, you can still get jacked. If you just take on these suggestions and strategies, I promise you, you will see results. What can you do next though? I will say that if you are stuck, if you are feeling a little bit like you're spinning that hamster wheel and you haven't seen any results in the gym for quite a long time, if at all, take my quiz and find out why you're not getting the results you want. It takes 2 minutes, so again, appreciate that you're all busy and want to get on RedTube, Pornhub, etc. This quiz takes 2 minutes and it will tell you exactly what you need to do after you have completed it. Peace out.